In 2012, 8-year-old Lucy Thompson vanished during a family picnic. She ran toward the woods to chase her ball and was never seen again. For over a decade, the case remained unsolved, while a quiet, reclusive man, Harold Ellis, lived just miles away, hiding chilling evidence in his attic. But when a forgotten photo resurfaced 11 years later, it led investigators to a buried metal box. And then, to the truth. Now, her story is no longer a mystery. It's a completed case with real answers, real closure, and one final discovery that changed everything. It was June 17, 2012. The forecast read 84 degrees with clear skies and low humidity, ideal weather for a family picnic. At exactly 1:12 p.m., Lucy Thompson, 8 years old, vanished from Riverview State Park, just north of the Hudson River in Dutchess County, New York. The Thompsons had arrived around 11 that morning, parking in Lot B near the East Ridge Trailhead. GPS coordinates 418031 N, 739457 W. Lucy, wearing a red polka dot dress and white sneakers, had been playing with her cousin near the tree line. It was a wide, open field that bordered the woods, with picnic tables scattered under the shade. By all accounts, it was an ordinary Sunday, until it wasn't. At approximately 1:08 p.m., Lucy's ball, a yellow rubber playground ball with a faded smiley face, bounced away from the blanket and rolled toward the edge of the woods. She chased after it. Her mother, Marissa, later recalled looking up briefly and seeing Lucy near the trees. She had her back turned. "I thought she was just going to pick it up. It was that fast." But Lucy didn't come back. At first, no one panicked. Children wander. 5 minutes passed, then 10. The family began calling her name, fanning out along the edge of the woods. By 1:18 p.m., Marissa's voice had changed pitch. Her brother Daniel jogged down the forest path, shouting, then sprinting. Still nothing. At 1:24 p.m., Marissa called 911. 911 call transcript, 1:24:07 p.m. Dispatcher, Dutchess County 911. What's your emergency? Caller, Marissa Thompson. Hi, yes. I can't find my daughter. We're at Riverview Park by the picnic area near Lot B. Dispatcher. What's her name and age? Marissa. Lucy Thompson. She's 8. She was just playing. She ran after her ball near the trees, and now we can't find her. We've looked everywhere. Dispatcher. What is she wearing? Marissa. A red dress with white dots. White sneakers. She has brown hair, shoulder length. Dispatcher. Stay where you are. We're dispatching units now. Do not enter the woods alone. Do you see any strangers nearby? Marissa. No, I don't know. I don't think so. Please hurry. At 1:27 p.m., 2 patrol cars were en route from the Hyde Park substation, ETA 6 minutes. By 1:34 p.m., park rangers had begun a sweep of the surrounding trails. Lucy's name echoed across the trees, bouncing against the dense canopy. At 1:41 p.m., the first officer arrived. Officer Deborah Ruiz, a 12-year veteran of the force, noted that the tree line had no visible break, no trampled brush, no sign of struggle. But the ball was gone too. By 2:10 p.m., K-9 units were requested. The temperature had climbed to 86 degrees, but the forest remained cool and shaded, 71 degrees under the canopy, recorded by an officer's FLIR handheld. Still, no sign of Lucy. What made it more complicated? No one saw her enter the woods. No witness, no scream, no sound. A family friend, Mark Riley, had been grilling nearby. He told police, "I swear I looked up right after she went after the ball. Not more than 10 seconds. But I didn't see her at all. It was like she was swallowed by the trees." The search grid was drawn quickly, a 0.7-mile radius from the last known point. Teams were split into sectors. At 3:12 p.m., a ranger reported faint footprints in soft earth, size consistent with a child's sneaker. But the trail ended abruptly at a creek bed 300 feet in. The creek was shallow, no more than ankle deep, but rocky and fast. Could Lucy have followed it? Could someone have waited beyond it? At 4:00 p.m., the first drone unit was launched to scan the ridge trail. Infrared detection was limited due to the thick foliage. By 5:18 p.m., light began to dim in the deeper woods. The sun wouldn't set until 8:31 p.m., but shadows stretched longer with each passing minute. By sunset, more than 50 people were combing the area: officers, park staff, and volunteers. But no one found a single piece of clothing, no torn fabric, no cries. Lucy's name was called into silence. And something else emerged, quietly. A couple picnicking nearby, the Vargases, told investigators they saw a man standing by the trees shortly before Lucy disappeared. They described him only vaguely: tall, tan jacket, sunglasses. "We didn't think much of it at the time," Maria Vargas later said. "But now, I don't know. Maybe we should have." Was this a phantom sighting? A red herring? Or had someone truly been watching? As night fell, officers marked the ground with orange tape. Portable floodlights illuminated the forest's edge. Lucy's name was now listed in the statewide Amber Alert system. She had been missing for over 6 hours. Still no ball, no dress, no Lucy. The first 48 hours in a missing child case are often the most critical. Investigators refer to them as the golden window, when memories are sharp, evidence is fresh, and hope hasn't yet hardened into dread. Lucy Thompson had now been missing for nearly 10 hours. By midnight on June 18, 2012, Riverview State Park had transformed from a summer retreat into a gridlocked operation zone. A 1.2-mile perimeter was secured around the last known sighting. Officers marked it using neon green flagging tape and handheld GPS devices, specifically the Garmin GPS Map 62's model, accurate to within 10 feet. At least 14 uniformed officers remained on site overnight. K-9 units worked in overlapping intervals, pausing only to hydrate and reset. One dog briefly indicated near the creek, then lost the scent entirely. At 1:43 a.m., Dutchess County Dispatch pushed out an internal all-units alert. Missing child case. Female, age 8. Last seen, 6/17, 1:10 p.m. Est. Riverview Park, Lot B trailhead, red polka dress, white sneakers. Amber Alert activated. Standby for grid coordinates. Search efforts resumed at dawn. By 5:40 a.m., more than 30 volunteers had arrived with flashlights, walkie-talkies, and printed maps. They were briefed by Lieutenant Gwen Morales, who reminded them, "Eyes open, keep line of sight, call anything, even if it feels small." By 7:15 a.m., State Police Air Support joined the operation. A Bell 407 helicopter equipped with FLIR, forward-looking infrared, scanned the east slope. The readouts were clear: deer, birds, a scattering of ground animals, but no human signature matching Lucy's size. Then came a voice from Sector G, just south of the creek line. "This is Unit 37. I might have something." Officer Ray Hall had found partial impressions in the mud beneath a pine tree. 2 parallel treads, possible child's sneaker. Measurements were taken, 6.5 inches long, consistent with a child-size one. But the prints overlapped with 2 deeper indentations. Boot marks. Adult-sized. Heading west. Hall's voice crackled through the radio. 1 adult, 1 child. But only the adult returns. Was it a coincidence? A hunter? Or something more sinister? The prints stopped at a gravel maintenance road closed to the public. Tire tracks were visible, fresh. Forensic techs later determined the tires had a unique wear pattern on the front left. Goodyear Wrangler RTS, uneven tread, likely from a mid-2000s pickup or SUV. They were cast in dental stone and bagged. Still, no sign of Lucy. Meanwhile, investigators re-interviewed all on-site witnesses. A food truck vendor named Joel Denton recalled seeing a man pacing near the tree line around noon. He wasn't with a group, just standing there, hands in his pockets. Didn't buy anything. Just watching. That made 2 separate accounts, Denton and the Vargases, both describing an unknown male near where Lucy vanished. Neither could recall his face. No security cameras existed that deep into the park. Detectives began combing through vehicle records. Over 180 cars had entered Riverview that Sunday, according to the ranger station's hand-logged entry sheet. Only 137 had been confirmed as leaving by gate cameras. That left 43 unaccounted for. They began tracking the plates one by one. By the evening of June 18th, the Thompson family had set up a folding table by the trailhead. Photos of Lucy, School pictures, family vacations were taped to poster boards. Her father, Greg, refused to leave the site. "She's still close," he said. "I can feel it. She didn't just disappear." The sun dipped behind the ridgeline. A cold wind moved through the woods. Then, a call came in from a woman named Lisa Hanley, who'd seen the Amber Alert on her drive home from work. She had hiked near Riverview that afternoon, June 17th, and remembered something strange. A man parked off-road near the fire service trail. He wasn't hiking, just sitting in his car, windows up. It was weird because it was such a nice day. What kind of car? Maybe a gray Jeep Cherokee, late 90s, dirty plates. Officers flagged the tip and cross-checked it with gate entries. No gray Jeep was listed. Was it parked before the ranger started logging plates? They began searching DMV records for local registered Cherokees, narrowing it by year, color, and damage. That night, a team returned to the pine tree area with a UV scanner. On one branch, just above eye level, they found a faint smear, oily, possibly from skin contact. It was swabbed, bagged, and sent for lab analysis. No result yet, but it was the first sign something, or someone, had touched that tree. The hours ticked by. Lucy had now been missing for 31 hours. The golden window was closing, but the ground still held secrets, and the trees weren't done speaking. By Tuesday morning, June 19th, Lucy Thompson had been missing for 44 hours. As the golden window faded, authorities escalated the operation. What began as a local search was now a multi-agency response involving state police, forest rescue, and the FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment, CARD, team. The search radius expanded from 1.2 to 3.5 miles, extending into undeveloped ridgelines and utility corridors. Satellite maps showed dense elevation drops, steep terrain, brush-choked ravines, and shallow caves. FLIR scans from above had already covered the accessible portions. The next step would take boots into unforgiving land. At 9:10 a.m., 2 Black Hawk helicopters from the State Police Aviation Unit arrived. They coordinated with teams on the ground to search the northern slope, an area not originally included due to its remoteness and steep grade. GPS elevation at the summit read 1,172 feet. From above, the woods looked ordinary, but on foot, the landscape shifted. Loose shale, hidden sinkholes, and wild thorn patches made progress slow. Searchers used trail tape every 40 yards to track coverage. In a press briefing that morning, Letitia Morales addressed the media. "We are not treating this as a runaway. This is now considered a potential abduction. We have new resources in place and will continue searching until we find Lucy." Meanwhile, Dutchess County SAR teams deployed underwater gear to the 2 creeks within the park boundaries. The larger one, Taganic Run, was 4.3 feet deep at its highest point. Divers used pole cameras and GoPro Hero 9 units on extension arms to scan beneath rocks and branches. At 10:46 a.m., sonar teams began sweeping nearby Stillwell Pond, using a Kongsberg EM-2040 compact multi-beam sonar system. Nothing conclusive was found, only natural debris and a few submerged logs. By midday, national media had arrived. A fragment from Channel 8 News aired at 12:02 p.m. Anchor. The disappearance of 8-year-old Lucy Thompson has gripped the state. Officials remain tight-lipped, but sources tell us search crews are expanding beyond park boundaries. As cameras zoomed in on tents, yellow tape, and tired faces, one reporter caught a small moment. Lucy's father, Greg, kneeling in the dirt, tying a red ribbon to a low pine branch. "It was her favorite color," he whispered. "I want her to see it if she's nearby." The moment aired live. By 1:30 p.m., ribbons began appearing along fences, trails, and mailboxes across Dutchess County. Then, a new tip came in. A hiker named Sean Loring submitted a photo to the police, taken on the morning of June 17th, about 2 hours before Lucy disappeared. He'd been photographing the sunrise from a bluff overlooking the park's western edge. In the lower left corner of one image, barely visible, was a dark figure standing alone near the trail split. Loring hadn't noticed it until the news broke. Police reviewed the image metadata. Timestamp 6:51 a.m. GPS 41.79998 degree N 73.9482 degree W. Enhancement revealed no clear face, just the outline of a man, tall, hands in pockets, facing the woods. Was it the same individual the Vargases and Denton had seen? Could he have been scouting the area? Investigators requested Loring's full SD card and brought in image analysts. The search grew heavier. Tensions followed. Officer Hall, who'd found the partial boot prints earlier, expressed frustration in a radio log. "We're throwing resources everywhere, but it's like trying to find a candle flame in a thunderstorm. She's just gone." Another team member reminded him that small clues can take time to surface, that no one just vanishes. And yet, nearly 72 hours in, Lucy had not been seen, heard, or detected. No discarded clothing, no backpack, no prints past the creek. Just a trail of ribbons, a distant photo, and a girl's name echoing deeper into silence. But late that afternoon, a scent dog paused again near the service road, the same spot as before. This time, it didn't veer off. It sat down, the trained signal for alert. By Wednesday, June 20th, 72 hours since Lucy vanished, the story had gone national. News vans lined the road outside Riverview State Park, fold-out tables with microphones, reporters shouting across one another, cameras capturing tearful vigils. It had become a circus. Public interest was explosive. The combination of an innocent face, a public setting, and zero answers ignited the internet. "Where is Lucy?" trended on Twitter. A Facebook page for tips gathered 42,000 followers in 2 days, but with visibility came static, noise that buried facts under speculation. Some of it, investigators could ignore, but one tip stood out. A woman named Renee Caslow called the hotline at 11:58 a.m. She claimed to have seen a girl matching Lucy's description in a rest stop off I-84, roughly 40 miles southeast. The same afternoon Lucy went missing. Dispatcher: "Can you describe the child?" Caslow: "Small, maybe 8 or 9. Brown hair, red dress with white dots. She looked scared. A man was holding her wrist, tight." She described the man as mid-40s, heavyset, bald, wearing aviator sunglasses. The car? A green minivan. I think it had Vermont plates. It was the strongest lead they'd had since day one. Troopers were dispatched immediately to the rest stop, which had no exterior cameras, but did have a gas station with archived surveillance. They reviewed footage from 2 to 4 p.m. At 3:12 p.m., a green Dodge Caravan pulled in. A man matching the description got out. He was alone, no child. Investigators contacted Caslow again. Her story shifted. Maybe the dress was pink, and maybe it was earlier in the day. I'm not sure now. It unraveled. They dug deeper. Caslow had submitted sightings in 5 other missing persons cases in the past 2 years. None had been confirmed. The lead was closed. Still, the press wouldn't let it go. That night's headline on News Channel 3 read, "Witness claims Lucy was taken. Is law enforcement missing key leads?" Lieutenant Morales had to address the media again, carefully. "We appreciate every tip, but we must separate fact from assumption. That particular claim has been investigated and ruled out. We continue to follow credible evidence." But in the court of public opinion, truth was now a moving target. Inside the mobile command post, detectives reviewed another troubling thread. An anonymous user on a message board had posted something cryptic. "She's not in the woods. Look closer to the sky." It was followed by GPS coordinates, 41.824 73.9446 W, a location near an abandoned fire tower just outside the park boundary. Tech analysts traced the IP address. It originated from a library in Poughkeepsie, 17 miles south. Security footage from the library showed a teenager at the terminal during the time of the post. When confronted, he admitted it was a hoax. "Just trolling. I wanted to see if they'd actually look." They did, and lost 5 hours of search time in the process. Back at the Thompson home, a small crowd had gathered. Neighbors brought food, lit candles, and posted hand-drawn signs. "Come home, Lucy." Her mother, Marissa, hadn't slept in 2 days. Her voice barely carried. I keep waiting to hear the door open, like she'll just walk in and say, "I'm back." It's quiet without her. Too quiet. Greg, her father, stared out the living room window. It's harder when nothing is found. No clues. No. Just silence. On Thursday morning, June 21st, a new piece of evidence surfaced. Park maintenance crew member Tom Wexler reported a backpack found in a drainage ditch half a mile outside the search grid. It was torn and water damaged, but still intact. It had cartoon stickers peeled on the front, a faded unicorn and a strawberry. Inside was a child's sweatshirt, size small, no name tag. Detectives rushed the bag to the forensics tent. Swabs were taken for trace DNA. Serial number from the tag, Jarsh BX09773K, traced to a Target retail chain. The Thompsons were shown the bag. Marissa paused. That might be hers. I'm not sure. It looks like the one she used last summer. DNA analysis was ordered, expedited, but even that discovery brought uncertainty. How had the bag ended up outside the grid? Had it been planted? Dropped? Could it even belong to Lucy? And there was something else. The ditch was near a utility access road, a route not covered in earlier searches, one that circled behind the ranger's check-in booth. Detectives pulled satellite images from the past week, and on one, dated June 17th at 1:23 p.m., they saw a faint outline of a vehicle in that very spot. Gray, boxy, unidentified. By the end of June 2012, nearly 3 weeks after Lucy Thompson vanished, the search had slowed, not by choice, but by exhaustion. Leads dried up. Tips stopped trickling. The official search effort was scaled down on day 26. Officers removed the mobile command center. Helicopters were grounded. K-9 units were pulled for reassignment. Lucy's photo was still on every bulletin board and diner counter in Dutchess County, but the scent had long gone cold. What remained were boxes. Inside Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, Evidence Room 3, Shelf C, sat 3 large bins labeled Thompson, RSP 12-06171. Each box contained reports, field logs, photographs, audio transcriptions, and bagged samples. Dust gathered quickly. Some evidence was inconclusive. Other items, like the torn backpack, were still undergoing DNA analysis. But weeks turned to months, and the DNA never matched. By the 1-year anniversary, the Thompson family hosted a candlelight vigil back at Riverview Park. About 70 people attended. Red ribbons were tied to every fence post. Local papers ran a small headline, "Still no answers, 1 year later." Marissa spoke quietly into the microphone. "I don't care how long it takes. I will wait a lifetime if I have to. Someone knows what happened. And we are not going away." Greg simply added, "She was 8. She deserved better than silence." After that, the vigils became annual. By year 3, fewer people came. By year 5, just family. Detective Ken Rowe, the original case lead, retired in 2016. Before he left, he boxed up his notes, added a sticky label, "Unresolved, reactivate if new evidence." He handed the file to incoming investigator Melanie Rhodes. Rhodes read every page over 2 weeks. She highlighted key phrases: unidentified male witness, backpack recovered, tire tread inconsistent with registered vehicles. She requested to retest several pieces of fabric using updated LCN DNA techniques, low copy number analysis that didn't exist in 2012. But lab results came back the same, no match. The online community tried to fill the void. An independent subreddit was formed, Where is Lucy, eventually reaching 21,000 members. Theories ranged from credible to absurd: a park employee, an off-grid survivalist, even abduction by someone within the Thompson family. None had evidence. One anonymous user posted a digital composite of what Lucy might look like at age 13. Big brown eyes, slight dimples, a quiet smile. The photo went viral for a day, but it didn't bring Lucy home. In 2018, a woman from New Jersey walked into a police station claiming to be Lucy. She had scars on her arms, a vague story about being raised in a basement. She couldn't name her parents. Investigators ran prints. Her name was Mia Delgado, 22, diagnosed with schizophrenia. No connection. For a moment, hope flickered, then failed. Still, small things kept the case alive. A local teacher continued assigning a yearly essay to her students. What would you do if your friend went missing? Lucy had once been in her class. The park installed new lighting at the trailhead. A plaque was quietly mounted to a bench, in honor of Lucy Thompson, never forgotten. But official movement on the case ceased, until October 2023. That fall, the case file was transferred again, this time to Dutchess County Cold Case Unit, under the review of Sergeant Kyle Brenner, who'd just returned from training at Quantico. He was methodical, cautious. On day one, he reprinted every known map of the park, overlaying a transparent sheet with the search grid. And that's when he noticed something. The drainage ditch where the backpack was found? It hadn't been part of the original search zone, not even on day 3. The discovery site was more than 60 feet outside the mapped radius. No reports documented how it was missed. Brenner circled it in red pen, labeled it Zone 4C, missed. Had someone placed the bag there after the fact? Then came the attic photo. A man named Frank Miller had been cleaning out the house of his late uncle, a recluse who'd lived 2 towns over. In a dusty shoebox marked Memories, he found several loose Polaroids. Most were landscapes, blurry trees. But one wasn't. It showed a little girl, maybe 8 years old, standing at the edge of a wooded slope, alone, facing the trees. She wore a red dress with white dots. And behind her, far in the background, was the faint shape of a man in the shadows. The photo had never been seen before, and it wasn't taken by her family. The forest kept it secret for nearly 12 years, and when it finally gave it up, it did so quietly. No drama, no storm, just the sound of a shovel scraping against something it shouldn't. March 26, 2024. East Hollow Ridge, Riverview State Park. Beneath 3 1-2 feet of hard-packed soil, search crews uncovered a rusted steel container buried behind a dense hemlock cluster, an area untouched by the original 2012 search effort. The discovery came days after a LiDAR scan revealed a rectangular depression in the terrain, unnaturally even. Ground-penetrating radar confirmed a solid structure beneath. 2 cadaver dogs alerted at the same location, independently. Sergeant Kyle Brenner ordered immediate excavation. The box was old, heavily corroded. Approximate dimensions, 52 by 26 inches. It had no markings, just a faint dent and heavy hinges sealed by rust and time. It was not a coffin, but it wasn't random either. The site was cordoned off. No press. No photos leaked. Brenner radioed in. "We've got a potential primary site. Stand by for contents." The lid opened at 6:42 p.m. Inside, 2 airtight plastic containers, a folded nylon tarp, a pink stuffed animal, partially decayed, a child's red zippered jacket, faded and brittle at the collar. Under the tarp was something unexpected, a sealed Ziploc bag containing a small spiral notebook and a single undeveloped roll of 35mm film. The notebook, warped and water-stained, had writing on only 1 page. "We stayed here 2 nights. She was quiet. Didn't know what else to do. No signature, no name, but 1 line at the very bottom. Didn't mean to. Forensics bagged it, logged it under evidence tag 24RSP077. The stuffed animal was identified within hours. Cupcake, Lucy's favorite toy, confirmed by her mother. The jacket matched one seen in a 2011 family photo. Size small, no blood, just soil stains, pine needles, and a torn sleeve. But the film, that was different. It was labeled in faded Sharpie. June 12, Woods. While analysts prepared the roll for development, lab results from earlier finds came back. Inside one of the shoes recovered from Harold Ellis's garage in 2023, forensic techs had pulled a single hair, degraded but viable for mitochondrial DNA. The match came in just past midnight. Maternal lineage confirmed. The hair belonged to Lucy Thompson. Brenner read the report silently. Then he looked up at Rhodes, who had carried the case for 8 years. "Brenner, this connects her directly to Ellis's property, to his car, to this ridge." "Rhodes, we always thought she was gone in minutes. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe she was here for days." That idea shifted the timeline entirely. Ellis, the reclusive uncle never interviewed in 2012, had the means, the location, and now, circumstantial possession of Lucy's belongings. But was he acting alone? And more urgently, was this a murder case? Or something else? The following day, the developed photos arrived from the lab. Out of the 24 exposures, only 5 were salvageable. 4 showed trees, shadows, and 1 old utility shed. But one image was clear. A child, in a red dress, sitting at the base of a tree, eyes slightly downcast, the same slope visible in the background. Timestamp etched on the edge of the print, 06/18/2012, the day after Lucy vanished. She was alive, for at least 24 hours after the 911 call. And in the far left of the frame, almost out of focus, the outline of a man's legs, jeans, boots, standing. They had never searched that area in 2012. A quiet fell over the team. The photo was handed from person to person, none speaking. Then Rhodes said, if she made it to that tree, she might have left more than memories behind. And with that, Brenner gave the order. Run a full sweep, deep soil test, every square inch around that tree. The site was reopened, and before sunset, ground sonar struck something beneath the pine roots. Not metal, not a box, something irregular and solid. March 28, 2024. Riverview State Park, East Hollow Ridge. It was just past 11 a.m. when the excavation team uncovered something beneath the pine tree from the 2012 photo. Ground sonar had bounced irregularly. Cadaver dogs signaled again. And this time, what they found wasn't rusted steel. It was earth. Disturbed. Packed. By 2 p.m., partial remains were located. Child-sized, shallow buried, 2.8 feet deep. Alongside the bones were a plastic butterfly hair clip, a single white sneaker, and a faded red jacket sleeve. No press knew yet. The team worked in silence. Dr. Elena Wexler, the forensic anthropologist flown in from Albany, made a quiet declaration. Preliminary match. Female child, roughly 8. Approximate time of death. Summer 2012. The shoe matched one recovered in Ellis's garage. The hair clip? Lucy's mother identified it instantly. She wore it to the park that morning. I put it in myself. DNA was fast-tracked to the New York State Crime Lab. Results came back April 2nd. The match was definitive. Lucy Thompson. Confirmed. 12 years missing. Now found? In the woods she had entered chasing a ball. The next day, Dutchess County Sheriff's Office held a press conference. Reporters lined the street. Red ribbons reappeared across Riverview's entrance sign. Sheriff Dana Kroll delivered the statement. With the discovery of remains confirmed as Lucy Thompson, we now conclude one of the longest unsolved child disappearances in our region. This is no longer a missing persons case. It is now classified as a homicide. She paused. Cameras flashed. While the suspect, Harold Ellis, is deceased, the case is considered resolved by identification and location of victim and attribution of likely cause. Greg and Marissa Thompson issued a short statement outside their home. Greg, she's not a theory anymore. She's not a question mark. She was here, and now she's home. Marissa added only, tell your kids you love them, every day. The 35mm film recovered from the buried container had been developed. One photo stood out. Lucy, seated at the base of a pine tree. Her dress was crumpled, her expression unreadable. The timestamp, June 18th, 2012. 1 full day after she vanished. In the corner of the frame, the edge of a pant leg. Male. Standing. That image rewrote the timeline. Lucy hadn't been taken and killed immediately. She lived briefly, under the canopy, unseen, unheard, just miles from the world searching for her. Harold Ellis was never questioned in 2012. He lived outside the grid, kept to himself, and was never flagged in vehicle logs. But inside his house they found evidence. Lucy's stuffed toy, her shoe, and now, her handwriting inside a torn notebook. Just one sentence. I miss Mom. No date, just that line. On May 6th, a permanent memorial was installed at the site, a granite marker beneath the trees. It reads, Lucy Thompson, found 2024, loved, remembered, free. The forest is quieter now, the air clearer, and Lucy's name no longer echoes unanswered. This was not the ending anyone hoped for, but it was, finally, an answer. If you believe every missing child deserves to be found, share this story. Comment, found. Subscribe for more true case breakdowns.